ASMR newbie. I don't watch ASMR at all, even though I love doing it because it's fun, it's funny, I can learn a few things. So I'm going to do that right away. To do so, of course, I need my New York cap on me. And now we can proceed to read the motivation. Sorry, Jeff Hayden. The Motivational Myth. Sorry, it's a little bit late. From Jeff Hayden, as I said, it's how high achievers really set themselves up to win. And I'm going to be reading this to you. So, the Motivational Myth. I'm going to read you a little preface. You're going to see why it's so amazing, and you're going to be really motivated after this. Motivation isn't something you have. Motivation is something you get automatically from feeling good about achieving small successes. I'm going to develop that. What would you do if you could just get yourself more motivated? Lose 10 pounds in a month. Draw 2 million fans to your work. Start a successful business. Train for a 100-mile bike race. Jeff Hayden has done all of those, and more. Not because he's brilliant or superhuman. He'd say he's just a basic, regular guy. It's because he figured out a fresh way to think about success, about effort, and especially motivation, which, as most people define the word, is a complete myth. In the movies, a sudden lightning bolt of inspiration gets someone off the sofa and working like a maniac. But in real life, those brief sparks rarely happen and never last. Waiting for them is a recipe for chronic disappointment. Real sustainable motivation is a result, not a cause, of achievement. Specifically, it comes from the dopamine your brain generates when you see yourself making progress, and not necessarily dramatic, life-changing progress. Almost anything will do to get the ball rolling. If you're studying a new language, celebrate when you can count to 20. If you're learning to code, savor the first little program that actually works. Seemingly minor successes create a virtuous cycle. Improving feels good, and feeling good breeds confidence. Confidence helps you keep going, which leads to further improving. Rinse and repeat. If it's that simple, why doesn't everyone achieve their dreams this way? Hayden, Jeff, as we call him, explores the many obstacles that knock us off the virtuous cycle and leave us demoralized. And he offers powerful tactics that you can apply right away to keep those dopamine hits coming. For instance, when you set a big goal, forget it. Focus only on what you need to do in the next 24 hours. If the mountain looks scary, just focus on the next step. Put time and effort into creating the right environment. It's far more important than willpower. Make your daily plan very specific and achievable. Do a lot more cold calling is terrible. Make 3 cold calls to prospects today is great. Do less to achieve more. That's the fourth point, sorry. A to-do list with 20 or 30 items is really just a wish list. Impossible and depressing for most of us. Then there's a little biography about Jeff Hayden, but we're not going to talk about that. You might discover it if you want to read the whole book, but I'm going to read to you just some little parts of this book on how high achievers really set themselves up to win. And this book is to everyone who hasn't achieved their dreams yet. That sounds odd because friendly people tend to be gregarious and outgoing, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But there's a big difference between friendly and likable. Likable people already know what they know. They want to know what other people know. They ask questions. They ask for details. They care about what other people think, and they show it by listening. That makes the people they meet feel important. It makes the people they meet feel likable. As well they should, because they are. And it makes the people they meet like them for making them feel that way. Second of all, do not blame. Friends make mistakes. Employees don't meet expectations. Vendors don't deliver on time. It's easy to blame other people for our problems. But we are also to blame. Maybe we didn't provide enough training. Maybe we didn't build in enough of a buffer. Maybe we asked for too much too soon. Taking responsibility when things go wrong instead of blaming others isn't masochistic. It's empowering. Because then we focus on doing things better or smarter the next time. And when we get better or smarter, we're also more likable, as long as we also don't try to impress. No one likes us for our clothes, our cars, our possessions, our titles, or our accomplishments. Sorry, once again, Jeff. Those are all things. People may like our things, but that doesn't mean they like us. Sure, superficially they might seem to, but superficial is also insubstantial. And a relationship that is not based on substance is not a real relationship. The only way to form genuine relationships is to stop trying to impress and start being yourself. I know we're not talking about motivation on page 60, but it's also about the greater your focus, the lower your chances of success. That's the title of the chapter, but you're learning a little bit more about yourself. I think everyone should read this. Then there's don't interrupt, don't control, don't preach, don't dwell in the past, etc., etc. But now let's see another page, random one, but with some interesting stuff to tell you. Oh, how to start when you're 0% motivated. That might be closer to our topic today. The best way to get motivated is to break a sweat, literally or symbolically. Getting started is often the hardest part. Financial planners frequently recommend paying off a small debt first, even though the balance on that bill may carry the lowest interest rate of all your debts. Rationally, that approach makes no sense. If you carry a balance on 3 credit cards, the card you pay off first should be the one with the highest interest rate. But the thought of paying off, say, a $7,000 balance when you can spare only an extra $200 a month, the time horizon is too long for the payoff, literally, to seem worth it. The irrational approach often works better. Working to pay off the card with the smallest balance seems a lot more attainable. Once you start, you can see the difference. Knocking $200 off an $800 those who say, as Raphi, I do procrastinate as well. He's right. Everyone does. One example. I've written more than 7 million published words. Please keep the jokes about long-windedness to yourself. You might then assume it's easy for me to sit down and write, but at times it's anything but. I'll make calls, take care of administrative tasks, do a little research. In my line of work, any reading is research, right? Play with the cats. I love to write, but sometimes the thought of writing seems daunting, especially at the beginning of a project, when I need to find the right voice and the best way into the material. Except for the cats, I can rationalize that I'm being productive, but usually, I'm just procrastinating. The key is to enjoy the feeling of success that comes from improving in some small way, and then do it over and over again. Why? Well, improving feels good. Improving breeds confidence. Improving creates a feeling of competence, and competence breeds self-confidence. Success in your field, or sometimes any field, breeds motivation. It feels good to improve, so you naturally want to keep improving. You've probably put off a task, finally gotten started, and then, once you got started, thought, I don't know why I kept putting this off. It's going really well, and it didn't turn out to be nearly as hard as I imagined. And here's the thing, it never is. Why? Because once you get started, once you get active and start doing something, doing not just anything, but something you know will get you one step closer to your goal. The process gets easier. Motivation kicks in because you've gotten started. A really cool virtuous cycle. One we'll look at in detail a little later. Sadly, not for you. You feel good because you're engaged and involved. You feel motivated because you took action. And this is the last sentence, I think, of the video, but motivation is a result, not a precondition. You don't need motivation to break a sweat. Break a sweat and you'll feel motivated. Honestly, this book is absolutely amazing. I love it. I hope you feel the same way. It was my pleasure to read a little bit to you. I hope you learned a few things. I sure did with this book. I could do nothing than recommend this to you. And besides that, I hope you were a little bit relaxed if you didn't listen to what I was saying and just to my whispers, which is understandable as well, of course, because not everyone is searching for a certain kind of motivation for something, or maybe just people already have the secret ingredients to do so. Have an amazing night. I'm sure you will. See you all very, very soon. It was my pleasure to see you. Love you all.